Here we are with another Facebook Live. No, Friday Night Live. I'm confused. December 3rd, 2021. Cheers. Another beautiful day in the greater TO. Every day is getting crazier and crazier. And the divine is shining brighter and brighter. So we can open up our hearts more and more. Lots going on here. Be aware. Because if you get in that deep sleep, you'll just be run over. Let's see if there's anybody hanging around on a Friday night. Some wonderful kidney tea with some liver tea, bit of lung tea, and many other herbs that we'd love to throw in. Where are we here? So, okay, wait a few minutes if anybody shows up.
It's the new moon at 2:30 maybe a.m. this morning.
Set your intentions. New moons are great for setting your intentions for the month. Be a little more clear what direction you want to go. Spiritual path is always a good path. It'll always keep you safe and keep you in line. Keeps you aware. Keeps you sane. All right. We are into the month of December 2021, and what a year. What a year. Coming to a close. A few more weeks. We'll go on to the 2022. And number 6. Interesting number. Upside down is divine 9. Six, 6, 6. 3 times 6, 18. Is it divine 9? Everything is divine. People make claims on certain numbers, but the whole mathematical equation, is it man-made or is it divine? if we look at everything in creation, they all fall under a perfect mathematical equation, the Fibonacci sequence. Perfectly, everything in nature, including the human body. Isn't that amazing? Planets, the plants, the animals, everything is based on that math. 432, the number of creation. And divine it is. My love, what's happening? If anybody can hear, let me know. Maybe the voice is not working. I think I checked it. Let me double check. Yeah, it should be on. Yeah, it should be working. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear. When's a good time to fast? Now's a good time. It's the only time we have. And we'll continue to make all the excuses of why not to fast. And it keeps coming in. I think I've heard every excuse out there. Because the monkey mind put them in my head too. But I continued. And sometimes I listen to the monkey mind here and there. We all do. Because we let our field strengths get low for whatever reason, from distractions of surviving in this world. There's distraction in every direction. Left, right, up, down, east, north, west, south. It's all over the place. Just look around. And those distractions usually will try and sway us in the opposite direction of peace, balance, correct conduct. You know, just look at the average city life out there. Big city life. People on the move in a hurry, going nowhere. Where are they going? Where do you gotta go? There's nowhere to go. You know, pace yourself. Have patience. It's getting more challenging, difficult out there in some situations, but I had an interesting situation today, but I don't want to talk about it. People are, lots of people are in a very deep fear state. It's, you know, going on to almost 2 years up here, 2 years globally, and it's affecting everybody. So many don't know if they're coming or going. Take this magic pill, potion, and everything will be okay. And then take it again and again and again and again because it doesn't work. And you know, if you're lucky, you'll survive. But hey, what do we know? We're just sharing our experiences. And if anybody wants to listen, they listen. If they don't, it's okay. It's very interesting times, and we have to keep our field strength up strong. You got to keep our field strength strong. You know, for those who have more challenges fasting, well, you know, focus more on clean minimal eating and using our wonderful, highly elevated friends, you know, until you can get into a mind state to allow more and more fasting. Because fasting, there's no need to force it. The biggest challenges is the starting day and a few days after that. And once you're in there, it's like, wow, this is wonderful. Beautiful. It makes life very simple when you're in a, you know, deep fast.
Yeah, it gets easier and easier with time.
But
with less obstructions.
If you're not prepared to be on a liquidarian lifestyle, you're gonna have to come back to the eating realm, which we all love to eat, but we love fasting way more. So got to be careful and keep that balance between the two and learn how to make it part of that of your lifestyle so that
you enjoy it.
You love it. Loving it, living it and loving it. If you don't live it and love it, you ain't going to do it. So yeah, the art of subtraction is very, very magical.
I find one of the toughest decisions in the past 6 years, since starting the master fast, is deciding about the lifestyle. You know, how many days to eat, how many days to drink, to fast, I mean, master fast. It's challenging to make that decision. And when you make it and you go through it, then of course you experience it, and so you learn a lot through that experience, things that you didn't know before. So you keep learning, and you keep adjusting your goals and your plans, just like everything else in life. So yeah, I always question things. Is this the right path? The right path in terms of the lifestyle, number of days of eating, you know, fasting, dry fasting, like master fast basically, which is liquid and dry. You know, it's big decisions, and we not only us, it's you know, our environment as well, our families, how they're going to how much support we're gonna get. And also how much expectations of support, you know, like it's one thing to receive support, it's another thing. I think the biggest thing is our attitude rather than the support itself from others. The attitude, our attitude towards that environment, if we feel supported or unsupported.
Hi, Mari. It's been a while. You're here last week. It's nice to see you. You've been here for a long time. How you been doing? You still singing? Or did you give that up? Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
You had a wonderful, beautiful voice for the song you that you shared way back. No.
She didn't give up.
Okay, great. Too sick to sing. Too sick to sing. 6 years you've been in this group. Are you living and loving it? It's 6 years. You know, is a long time. I haven't seen people who are in the worst condition take that long. You know, usually within 1 to 3 years, people are on their feet in really, really, really rough shape. So it's if it is to be, it's up to me. We all choose our paths. We know it's possible. Everything's possible. And if anybody tells you anything other than that, and you believe it, then you know that becomes your reality. Just like that article on the prisoner, you know, where he was on his death sentence. I don't know if it was a hanging or electrocution, the real story. And there was a scientist who wanted to do an experiment. So he asked the prisoner, you know, instead of your painful death, we can do an experiment on you and you may survive. But it won't be painful. We will, you know, make a little cut in your vein and you will start to bleed to death very slowly. And he agreed, so they strapped him up on a table. And they made a little cut where the vein is, you know, in the wrist. But they didn't cut into the vein, they only cut the skin. So he couldn't see because he was strapped up. And under the table, they had a water drip system and a pan to drip the water in. So they, as soon as they made the cut, they opened up the valve to make it seem like the blood was dripping into the pan. And you know, the prisoners kind of getting worried. And then they slowed down the drip without him noticing. And he started, his color started going pale and his heart rate started going up. And then they turned the valve completely off and he had a heart attack and died. So we're gonna have to ask the question, how did he die if there was no blood coming out? Because he believed he was bleeding to death. Can you imagine that? He believed he was bleeding to death and not one drop of blood came out of his body. So we have to take a step back and, you know, read the story as a post and really look at that and say, my goodness gracious, belief system. What a belief system can do to us, even though it's false. So, even if you do something and you truly, really have wholeheartedly belief in it, guess what? You're going to benefit from it, just like the placebo, right? Placebo effect. So, Marie, I would highly recommend you just take charge. We have all the tools. We have so many tools. Nobody needs to be sick that long. I was not well for almost a 2-year period, and then again after the high fat time. It's not fun. Not fun. You have to snap yourself out of that. And we send you some plasma love always flowing, so you can get the courage and make it happen. Because I have no doubt anybody can turn anything around, no matter what it is. I don't care what it is, whatever they call it, doesn't mean anything to me. If you're still breathing, there's very, very, very good chance you can turn it all around. As long as you're breathing, you have all your organs and glands. Makes it a lot better, once they start cutting things out of you. So it makes it a lot more challenging. But yeah, make it happen. Make it happen. It's no reason to be sick that long. No, there's just no reason. It's emotion. Emotion is seed. You need to find something that's going to nourish your emotion. And if you haven't got any essential oils, start getting more essential oils and start using them, and more herbs and stuff. That'll help with your emotions. Doing breath work.
Be in nature.
Buteyko breath work. Yeah, being in nature, definitely. All the tools we have. So hopefully that can help. Barbara, I have laryngitis myself. All right. You got some stuff moving around. Good news. Change is good news, right, Barbara? And when we're living and loving it and regularly fasting, we're going to see changes. We're going to see changes. And we're not going to like some of the changes we see because we don't have the understanding of what's really going on. And all I can tell you is we've seen it all, and it's all good news. It's all good news. And there's very, 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 very rare situations where people will get themselves in trouble. And it's mostly because they're doing things that don't make any sense, and or running back to the former cartel. And that causes big problems. Big problems. Anytime you put synthetics into the body, whether orally or injection, the body has to react to save itself. So there's going to be a reaction. And those reactions, sometimes the body survives. And the only reason it survives is because it's the body doing the work, not this crap that they put in us. So, sometimes people don't survive using the same medications. Some people survive and some people don't. Why? That's the reason why, because it's all poison. And some people have enough vitality for the body to miraculously
Take
do
it.
the work to deal with the poison. And in doing so, the body is able to eliminate the greater obstruction, which will keep them going. Because it's all about moving out those obstructions. And, that's why medications, they really don't know what's going to happen in an individual, because every individual has completely different chemistry than anybody else. There's no two chemistries the same in we the people.
Vitality is different.
Everything is individual.
Which, yeah.
There's nothing you're going to find two exactly the same. Not even in twins, you won't even find it. Because there's two different heads and two different emotions. And two different lifestyles or whatever, even if they'd had the same lifestyle.
But overall, the body works pretty much the same in the same manner.
Independent.
Right? Like there are differences in vitality, but the basics are the same. Like that's why the solution is the same, pretty much. Go back to nature, right? Allow the body to heal itself, which is the same for everyone. Correct? So the solution is always pretty much the same, but the vitality is different. So the way we react, it's going to be different because the level of vitality obstructions. Right? Vitality includes everything, genetic, but also our lifetime obstructions, genetic challenges.
Yeah, Barbara, you can gargle with some sage tea. Don't drink it, just gargle with it. You can put a castor oil pack on the whole throat area here, under the jaw, down the throat, covering the thyroid. 3 days on, 3 days off. Do it at least an hour with some heat and continue so that you can draw out the obstructions that's causing the laryngitis. And of course, lots of washing the colon. It's always essential.
Obstructions, yeah.
And if you're not in a fasting state, that would be a great time to start right now. A couple of days, 2-3 days dry. If you haven't done your 3-day dry for the month, be a good time to do it. Wash out the colon very well for a day or two and jump in, and it'll pass. Yeah, use the tools. There's so many of them. I just can't imagine, with all the fasting I've done, when, using no tools. My goodness gracious, the simplest one is the enema bag, right? It's rough doing fasting with no enemas. I've done them in the past. I don't know why people put themselves through that, but they do. Hey, Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
But yeah, if we got the tools, just use them. So simple. It makes fasting much more pleasant and much more effective. Look at what we're doing in this realm with all the tools we have. We got a much more powerful purging effect than any water fast will ever do. There's just no comparison. Thanks, from Barbara. Thanks. What did you say? Put on the neck? Castor oil pack. Cover under the jawline and down the neckline. Just cover the whole area. Castor oil pack. Put your your castor oil and then put the heat.
Mm.
So it helps draw it out. And gargle with sage tea. Don't drink it. Just gargle with it a few times a day. If you have the lung tea, you can drink that, and also you can breathe in the steam. Many, many things you can do, Barbara. Yeah. What was I talking about? I just lost my train of thought.
We were talking about how people are different in terms of, I guess, makeup and emotions.
Yeah. You still in Bali, Jonathan? What's happening on that side? I've gone 13, yeah. And I did, was it 6 months ago? I did, was it 40 or 45? I don't remember now.
45 maybe.
It was just 5 liters of juice in the 40 or 45 days. Nothing else. So I'm always playing around here and there. I just go with the flow. And I was doing the tiles in the basement then, man. Hard, heavy lifting. You know what it's like. You're a tile setter. Big tiles, carrying around cement and cement bags. This is awesome. Lots of energy. It wasn't an experiment. It was just I just went with it. It was awesome. Yeah, I've been taking care of my mother for a few years now, so I'm spending as much time as I can there, enjoying the last few years with her, and I'm enjoying that. So we got to make some sacrifices sometimes to do certain things, but all is well. All is well. Barbara, ginger, salt, and propolis. What are you gonna do with the salt?
I think washing.
Gargle? Yeah, you can gargle with salt. You can put ginger in your tea as well.
Bless you, Jasmine. Thank you.
Oh, you're still in Bali, okay. Barbara was told honey and salt. Yeah, honey's always good. Salt, taking it internally, be careful. You can gargle with it, but I wouldn't be, I'd be using the herbs. Bye, Jonathan.
Bye.
I'd be using the herbs and the castor oil pack. You can do whatever you like. You can ask 1,000 people and you're going to get 1,000 different answers. We have many, many different tools that you can use. And our tools, we didn't just come up with them. We've had tens of thousands of people using all these tools. And they work. They work if you work them. So yeah. Honey, propolis is from bees. Bees collect the propolis. It's an antibiotic. That's treatment-based thinking. Honey, just taking some honey, it's soothing when you got sore throat and stuff. And it's also healing. If you have a burn and stuff, you can put honey on it and it'll help heal the burn much quicker, because nothing can live inside honey. honey can last thousands of years if it's good unpasteurized honey. So there's no bacteria or anything that's going to grow in there. So if you put it on a burn, nothing will be able to attack it, and it will allow to heal. And plus, it has it's what we call nutrients, if you want to call them.
Information.
Has the information that the bees use to sustain themselves from the flowers. So yeah. Once we work on our removing a lot of obstructions over and over and over again, these things that, sore throats and colds and flu stuff, you'll see much less of them, and eventually you won't see them at all. May happen, every few years or so, or even less, because, when you're living, loving it, you're peeling the layers, and sometimes you'll go for a few years, and then all of a sudden, bang, you hit a deep layer, and something's got to come out. So that happens. Like me, fourth or fifth year, I had that major lung detox, man. Oh man, it wasn't fun, but it was a blessing. All that stuff that came out was incredible. How much this body can hold is, most people don't have a clue. How many people master fast and they're freaking out on how much garbage the body's dumping for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. It's just coming and coming and coming and coming. Some people didn't dump old stuff until 60 days. I remember one in particular, 60 days they started releasing the old crappy stuff. It took 60 days on a full MFS. Just think how impacted this stuff is within all the interstitial tissues and cell structures and organs and glands. It takes work. It takes a lot of work to pull that stuff all out. It ain't gonna happen in one fast. It ain't gonna happen one fast. That's why we say this is a journey. This is a lifestyle. Barbara stole gargle. Yeah, enema and bled, and I bled. You bled when you were doing enema. It's probably just hemorrhoids. Make sure you don't poke yourself when you're putting the insert in the anus. People have done that. You got to be careful there. Have it well lubed. Coconut oil is the best lube, the slipperiest, makes it the easiest from everything I've tried. So the bleeding is usually hemorrhoids. That happens when you start living and loving it, and things want to heal. You may see some blood here and there. That's common. If it's pouring out blood, then yeah, you got to go to emergency. But
yeah,
a little bit of blood in here and there, you don't have to worry about, like, blowing out in sinuses. Blood's come. I've had that. Coughing out blood. Peeing out blood. Some people have had urine, urinating blood, and some people, coming out of the anus. So
it's a rare thing, though.
Yeah, it's not very common, but it happens.
Very uncommon.
It happens.
It happens here and there, a few days here and there.
I remember
in the middle of a long detox.
When I started going raw, I had all hemorrhoids popping out. Oh man, and they were there for a bit. I think a few months. Continuously fasting and so on and so forth. And then eventually gone, never to be seen again. So if you look at what are hemorrhoids, hemorrhoids is a weak vascular system. The walls of the vascular system are weak, and they balloon out. That's what a hemorrhoid is. Same thing as if it happens in the heart area, you get a heart attack, and then they do the bypass and so on and so forth. Or if it's completely plugged up, that's another thing that can happen. but a balloon in an artery, a rupture, stroke in the brain, right? These things happen. It's no different than a hemorrhoid. So if you have hemorrhoids down there, you have to ask yourself, what's going on with my rest of my vascular system? So you need to clean up, because as you clean it up, as you clean out all the obstructions, they will all return back to normal. All those balloons will be healed, and the elasticity of the vascular system will return. How do we know? Because it's happened to me, and it's happened to many thousands of people.
Another thing I would add about hemorrhoids, I would say, is when we're constipated, obstructed, we push, right? And when you push out these vessels, the veins.
Yeah, and if they're weak,
out,
they balloon.
Yeah. It's so once you remove the obstructions, you clear the bowels, and you don't have to push no more. The whole area starts healing, and it goes back to where it belongs. And also the elasticity. That probably takes time for the elasticity to go back to normal, right? It's muscles.
Witch hazel. Get some witch hazel. Help shrink hemorrhoids. Also, you can use comfrey root. You can do a poultice right on the anus. Tape it on somehow with a pad. Comfrey root's magical.
It happens. Hemorrhoids. I would say I had a few incidents where I had like quite a bit of bleeding from hemorrhoids, and it was a little bit, yeah, you worry, when you see that. It happened after long fast, when I broke long fast, and went a little bit obstructive. Of course, when you eat, you're going more obstructive than fasting, right? And if you eat a little bit more obstructive food, then you're gonna have more obstructions, and then hemorrhoids are common. I'm not the only one. Many people actually had this challenge after a long fast because of the obstructions of food, especially when we go out of eating raw fruits and vegetables, because it's harder to digest and eliminate this food, and you push and you get the hemorrhoids out, you push them out, and then you're a little bit constipated and you kind of pierce it, so you start bleeding. It's very normal after a long fast. Many people had it. I've had it at least 2 times after a long fast, and it was kind of scary, but you learn. As you get back on master fast, you start washing your colon. Even with hemorrhoids, I start washing my colon, get the obstructions out, and after a day, no more bleeding. A day, like 2 days maximum, something like that. It's really amazing how the body can reverse a lot of damage, yeah.
Yeah, people freak when they see blood, right?
Yeah, it's scary because it's quite a bit of blood. It's not a little bit, and you're sitting on the toilet and you're looking, it's red. So people get scared.
Yeah. The blood has to be moving and flowing for things to heal. So these things may happen, like I said, through the nose, through the mouth, coughing it out, urinating through the bowels.
Yeah,
I don't worry about it unless it's pouring out and you can't stop it. That's a different story. Women, of course, bleeding that way. There was one woman who was bleeding for years, and she master fast, and she bled for weeks, and then it all stopped. She bled for a long time.
Months, I think.
Yeah.
Because she did 108 days, and I think she bled almost all the way.
And it all stopped. I was told by her. Thanks for being so real. What else are we going to be, Barbara? There's enough fiction out there. We're done with fiction. Fiction world. Ross, hey guys, what do you think about the snake juice fast? I don't think anything about it, Ross. It's all isolates. Been down those roads. I don't use isolates. All right. Quiet night. If there are not any other questions, we will wrap things up. People drinking juice made from snakes. LOL. No, they call it the snake diet. They dry fast and then they do a lot of isolates and they do a lot of fats and stuff. Yeah, people do all kinds of stuff. Just remember, anytime you bring things down to simple eating, very like mono type things, even if you're using isolates, the body will be able to purge and heal some things. But when you're, want to do work on the spiritual level, the soul level, like we're been sharing in MFS and what we've been witnessing, miraculous major miracles. We're talking about a whole different realm. So the isolate world is the world of fiction. It's man-made. And you may want to choose to play in that. I did for many years. But it's not something that I have any interest in anymore. Like I said, isolates, the only purpose that I see for them is for an emergency purpose use, to help shift things quickly. But of course, we can do it with herbs, right? So is there a need for isolates? Doing surgeries and stuff to knock people out, when they've been in a car accident. I guess there is a purpose for everything, but it has to be done properly and carefully and with lots of knowledge. Doctors are the third leading cause of death in North America, probably around the world. And fourth is the drugs they prescribe. So a lot of mistakes happening there and people dying by things being done correctly. These things are not discussed openly, but these are facts. You can look it up. So like I said, we were talking earlier, anytime you introduce a chemistry into the body, a man-made chemistry, so it isolates, you don't know really what's going to happen.
Where are they going to end up? In your body, which organ, maybe in your liver.
Ozone.
Kidneys.
I have not heard anything negative from ozone being injected into the blood unless they do it too quickly. Or peroxide, hydrogen peroxide, which is a lot more aggressive. Vitamin C, if you overdo that, yeah. But these are very, very safe to inject these kind of isolates. Ozone, I would even put it in the category of an isolate because it's in a plasmatic state. It's is much more than just O3. There's a life force energy behind it. So yeah. Yeah, most people will be jumping from one thing to another, to another, to another, finding trying to find something better, because we've all done that. And I've done that for, decades, and it's all about addition, right? Going down the path of addition, that you need this and you're lacking that. And you will always be lacking when you go down that path of addition, because you're searching out there for what you have within limitless amounts of anything you need. It's limitless. The source of the divine does not have lack. And we can connect to that source, as people have shown, master fasting. And on nothing, on no thing, the body corrects itself. We just have a little helping hand from some herbs. And what do the herbs do? They open up blocked channels of the physical, mental, emotional, firstly, to keep things flowing. Because on a fast, is that in modern man, modern women, we're so obstructive. That's the big challenge. The body cannot purge out these obstructions quick enough, and then we drown in our own filth. And that's what happens. That's why people die. Can you get diabetes from MFS? Diabetes? Diabetes is a freaking fiction. It's a man-made fiction. I don't know the kind of questions these are, Ross, but hey, you've been here a while. If you're asking these questions, I think it's time to start reading a little more and watching some videos. You get people get off insulin in weeks. So yeah, diabetes.
Metformin, maybe. Insulin is a big one because it's a hormone.
Yeah, well, it's going to take, it takes time.
Yeah, people who take insulin have a harder time coming off it.
Takes time.
But type 2 diabetes.
The emotion state of somebody on, that's what they call diabetes, is a whole different thing that we need to work on. But I don't know. Moving towards balance is going to bring you imbalance. Okay. Haven't seen that. I've been eating tons of fruit for years. There's so many fruitarians that just live on fruit.
And they got off metformin and other diabetes medications. And I not type 1. I haven't seen type 1 people heal stories, of healing from type 1 with raw food. That one I haven't heard. But type 2, yeah, it was easy. Because type 1, they depend on insulin, which is a hormone. When you take it for a long time, like most people do, it shuts down your the gland that produces it, right? Which is insulin, the pancreas. Pancreas produces many other hormones other than insulin. So you can imagine many other hormones will be also affected when the pancreas is not working properly because we're taking insulin. Yeah. So with insulin, the body depends on it, and it's going to take you a while to wake up your pancreas again. It's just like the thyroid as well. You can't just come off it. You have to help your thyroid slowly by whatever. You have to learn how to get off your medication slowly. You do it with your doctor who put you on them, because they are the most knowledgeable about the side effects. Right? They are the best to help you, I would say.
Ross, my mom says I shouldn't do MFS because the sugar will give me diabetes. Oh, okay, well, listen to your mother, Ross. I'm not telling you to listen to us. Listen to your mother. Mother knows best. It's,
Sometimes.
yeah, sometimes.
Nobody knows everything.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with somebody's mother. Everybody has free will to do whatever they love, whatever they like, anytime, any way, any place, as long as they don't infringe on anybody else. Can I still get rid of mucoid plaque on fruit and enemas?
We haven't done it, so I don't know, right?
Many people have done it, including myself.
Were you able to?
We've had fruitarians, long-term fruitarians, talking about many years, master fast, and they were plugged up just like everybody else. So, will you remove some plaque? Yeah, of course, some's going to come out because depending on the level of obstructiveness of the diet, your body will come down to that level up to a point, depending what kind of fruit. If you eat, the ones that are
Juicy.
least obstructive, the juicy ones, you come down a little more. If you're eating always avocados, you're not gonna clean anything. You're gonna plug yourself up. So, yeah, yeah, it's very interesting how people have opinions of things they know little or nothing about. It just is what it is. Nothing's changed in the last 31 years, except it's gotten worse. Now everybody's wearing, covering their faces because that's going to help them. God help us. God help us.
God help us, and we have to do our best. Help ourselves.
Do you think we're in the end times? We're in the end times of whatever we had. They were in the times of massive changes. And a lot of people are leaving and will leave the planet in this next few years. This next year is going to be very interesting because of how it falls under satanic influence, the numbers. So, but at the same token, the planetary energetic cycles are moving in the favor of higher order and divine providence. So that's what we need to focus on. There's going to be challenges because demons do not stop being demons. So be right with your creator. Now's a good time.
Always, yeah.
If it's time to jump the fence, be ready. Could be any time. If we make it through, we will be in a glorious, beautiful place in the next few years. So hold on to your horses and keep that field strength high. Continue elevating all these demonic souls to peace, balance, and correct conduct. And with that said, we'll call it a night. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank
It's
you.
been a blast. Keep digging. Keep living. Keep loving it. Embrace the art of subtraction.
Take care.
Ciao, ciao.
Barbara Ross.
See y'all.